Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to show off Lian Li's RGB PSU extension cables. This is STRIMER PLUS V2. This is an extension of the previous kit from Lian Li, and an improvement in a number of different ways. And this is a short video to show you some of the bits of interest. Now here I have two of these installed, the 24-pin cable that connects to your motherboard, and a twin 8-pin PCIe cable that connects up to my RTX 3090. You can also get a triple 8-pin connector if you want to, so you have the options to choose depending on what cables your GPU takes, and you can add in some nice RGB, and as you can see from various angles, it really looks nice in the Lian Li Air Mini. Now these cables are really easy to install, and I've shown the installation process in a more detailed video where I talk through the various parts and how to install them, and the good news is it's fairly straightforward, especially if you buy the 24-pin, because in that box you get a little control box and necessary cables to connect it up. You also have two different options for controlling the RGB. You can see that there's a USB cable to connect it up, but also an RGB connector, which means that you can connect it directly to the RGB header on your motherboard and then control it via the motherboard software. So you have different options. But even as standard, you could just use the control box seen here, which is new and improved in itself and works with Lian Li's L-Connect version 3. So you have better controls in a more streamlined and interesting software. I'm not going to go into any depth on the software here. I covered it a little bit in the other video, and no doubt there are direct videos from Lian Li themselves. This is, however, a very useful and easy to use software, and the setup process for these things is ridiculously easy. The cables plug directly into the control box, and there are 3 ports, so you plug the 24-pin into one end, and then you can plug the PCIe ones into the side, and you have a switch that switches between them. That obviously requires SATA power from your power supply unit, but then as I said, you have the option to plug in directly to the motherboard or via USB, and that will just give you the control via LConnect, or you could do both. So you have really straightforward setup options, and the process is really simple as well. This is obviously another control box to add to your machine, and if you are like me and you have a lot of Lian Li fans already, and maybe even an all-in-one CPU cooler that requires a USB connection, you might need a splitter cable to split those out, but it's not too much fuss to purchase one of those. And you can see the cables fit in really nicely in this case. Now I will note, as I said in the main video, that you do need a bit of room at the bottom to make the most of the GPU cable, but the nice thing about the motherboard cable is it really sets off the side and it's very bendable. What you've seen is a little bit of a fiddly problem with installing it, making sure the clips are in place, but once you've done that, it's easy enough to hide away a lot of the original cable and also the new extension cable in the back as well. It's very flexible and bendable, and that's one of the upgrades that's come with this kit, is the cables are a bit nicer, a bit flexible, and a bit more diffused as well. What you will also see when you look closely a bit later on, or if you notice at the beginning, is the cables split into several different parts. There's actually 6 layers in there in pairs of 2 and the 24-pin, so that you can control the lighting across it in different ways, and there are numerous different effects that make it really interesting as well. And so the results of it, once it's installed, it looks really good, and not only has obviously the standard rainbow effect that you saw, but also a number of different effects that both go side to side across the cables and up and down as well, and you can choose from various really in-your-face effects. You can go for solid colors, and if you need to, you can also set it to black to turn it off completely. You can see what I was talking about here with the bottom of the case. Could really do with a bit more room to come out of the bottom underneath the motherboard to really show off cable, but that's going to vary from case to case. But here you can see some of the crazy effects that are possible, and you'll also see what I was talking about with the strips essentially doubling up. So it's split into 6 parts, but that's 2 of the LED strips per part. So you have 6 controllable areas. You can either set them as a specific color. You can see it as a rainbow color, for example. Here I've set it as blue and red. So you have different options in how you control it and what you do with it. You can also just set solid color throughout the entire thing, or you can have effects that go back and forth between it. You can also increase and decrease the speed of these, and they do go insanely fast, which I think personally would be very distracting, but it really depends what you're into. But you can see you can speed it up and slow it down. I think it looks a little bit nicer slow, but it really depends. Now, one of the things I did find is I couldn't work out a way to sync it with my AL120 lights on the fans, but I am having some problems with those at the moment because there's a clash between LConnect 3 and the Armoury Crate software, which requires a little bit of tweaking in order to get working. But I'm focusing here on the RGB cables because I think actually they're one of the nicest things I've installed in terms of RGB lighting. One of the easiest and nicest, because not only do they look great for RGB, they also make your cables a lot tidier. So something like the 24-pin cable on the motherboard can be a bit fussy and messy to install unless you use loads of cable combs or maybe a premium upgrade kit for your PSU cables or cable mod or something like that. However, as you can see from this keeps everything really nice and neat with a few different clips holding it in place, and the end result is fantastic. Check out the description for more information and watch the full video if you're interested in the full installation process. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.